You are listening to Mining Stock Education, where you'll learn from the top leaders in the natural resource sector and uncover quality mining investment opportunities.
But we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We've sat down with some of our investors who are on the producing side, and they've confirmed that we're doing what they want them to do, which is step out and make this get bigger.
Welcome back to Mining Stock Education. I'm your host, Bill Powers. In today's show, we'll be getting an update from Fury Gold Mines. Joining me is Director and CEO Tim Clark, as well as the Senior Vice President of Exploration, Bryan Atkinson. Gentlemen, welcome onto the show. And Bryan, welcome onto the show for the first time. Tim, I'd like to get a corporate update from you. What has been going on? I know the drills are turning. I haven't seen any assay results much recently. Can you give us an update of where the company is at right now?
Oh, no, Bill, absolutely. It's been great to have a good spring like this. We've been back. Once we raised that money this spring, we had $15 million in the bank, and we were able to get going on our drill program. We have a 15,000 meter program that we're planning for the summer. We're about 6,000 or 7,000 into that right now. And I think that there's been certainly some stress in the market with the way the stocks are performing in the group. We're not really worried about that right now, only because we've got a lot of blocking and tackling ahead of us. Drills started turning about 2.5 months ago. We're, in the situation where we're starting to see the assay results back up on us. So it's hard to get out the press releases that we like to be getting out. But as the viewers may remember, as we changed strategies a little bit this year, we sort of doubled down on Quebec. We tabled our drill program for the summer up in Committee Bay and Nunavut. We did sell off the Homestake Ridge to Dolly Varden. That's we own about a third of that company right now, and then we're basically working through our program that will take through the end of the year. We've got one drill at Eau Claire and one drill turning at Percival, which is 14 kilometers to the east. That's up in the James Bay region. It's about 57 kilometers south of Newmont's Eleanor mine. So we're excited at that. And I really kind of want to turn it over to Bryan because I think that he's the guy that investors should speak to. He's on the ground, he's working through it, and we're excited.
Bryan, can you give us perhaps introduce yourself and give us an overview of what you're overseeing right now with the drills turning?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Thanks very much for having me on, as I said, for the first time here. I've been with the group since before Fury's conception. Came through the Oren days and that, so been excited. Really good projects out in Quebec. As Tim said, we got 2 drills turning right now, 10 holes completed for about 6,800 meters. 11th and 12th holes going underway right now. So 2 holes out at Percival, which we're really excited about. And then the remainder of the holes around the deposit, just kind of looking at those big extensions that we were working on in 2021.
So with the Percival deposit, give us a little bit of the backstory, the history of this deposit, and what work have you done since acquiring it, and what are your goals here?
Yeah, great question. 2018 discovery, prospectors out in the field, they kicked over a rock. One of them ran 15 grams. They put the drill right behind it. One of the first holes into it, 93 meters at 2.2 grams. Got excited, started drilling a lot there, looking for shallow, open pitable mineralization, and sort of missed some of the key geometries that were hosting the mineralization there. Percival prospect itself didn't show up in conventional geochemistry, so we went out there and tried to narrow that down. We did a biogeochemical survey over the entire area, came up with 14 targets. Followed that up with induced polarization ground geophysical survey, and that just really tightened up those targets really nicely. And that's what we're drilling right now. As part of that geological study, we recognized a parallel fold hinge 500 meters to the east of Percival proper, where the gold mineralization had been drilled. And that's our first hole into that. We just drilled 50 meters of some really nice looking silicified and sulfide rich breccia. So really excited at that, but we're seven weeks away from getting those results out of the lab these days. So we'll have to be patient there.
And that's 6,500 meters you're drilling at Percival?
Approximately, yeah. So the split, the entire program currently is about 15,000 meters and about 6,500 meters out at Percival.
And Eau Claire results, when should investors expect those?
Pretty imminently. We just got an update from the lab yesterday. We were expecting a batch of results yesterday morning, and they informed us now that those would be towards the end of July. So without much notice, they went from 5-week promised turnaround to 7 to 8 week turnaround times at the lab. So a little stressful at this time, with that many meters drilled and no results yet. But I think we'll get through it. And visually, we're liking what we're seeing. We're putting on the core bench. So pretty confident in what we've done so far.
So, Bryan, with the 15,000 meter program for this year, 2022, what would be the goal? What would be success defined as the person overseeing this program?
Yeah, just continuing to expand the mineralized footprint at Eau Claire would be the focus of the drilling around there. We've got some interesting new targets following up on the hinge that we intercepted last year. With 4 holes, all 4 of them hit between 5 and 12 zones of gold mineralization. So pretty exciting sort of new area and lots of potential in a hinge zone. And then out at Percival, just sort of confirming that that high grade mineralization, the core of the broader lower grade mineralization, continues at depth down plunge at the main fold hinge, and then intercepting some mineralization out at the parallel fold hinge. Be very exciting along the way. And then back at Eau Claire, we started all the mineralization known so far is hosted on one limb of the fold. We've confirmed mineralization into the hinge, and now we're starting to chase that mineralization around to the north limb of the fold, the second limb. So that's underexplored. There's not a drill hole into it. We just actually completed the first one into it, and again, we're seeing the right rocks in the right spots there. So again, pretty exciting.
Tim, are you looking at putting out an increased resource by the end of the year with the 15,000 meters?
Well, I think we're going to do something like that, but we want to wait until we actually get a better idea of how big this gets. As Bryan would say, is we're not seeing cutoff anywhere. It's all getting bigger, and we're continuing to do step outs. I think we're most excited about the hinge in Percival right now in terms of the potential that we're seeing. But this North Limb prospect could be really exciting as well. They've never done anything up there, and it's coming in the way we're hoping it would in terms of the visual. The reality is that we're doing what I think senior producers want us to do, is stay away from the resource, make sure we're getting bigger. And then when we get an idea of where we can kind of get to, then we'll go back and put out an update on the resource.
Is there anything going on at the Eleanor South JV right now?
Well, we keep waiting, and we're hopeful, but I think the idea is that that's a pretty nice spot to be going up there, and we'd like to be drilling there end of the year or beginning of next year. We've sat down with our partners. We're really close to, I think, having an agreement how to pursue that. We're waiting any day now in terms of confirmation, and we'll let everybody know. I think that just a reminder, and when you look at this, and this is one of the things I was attracted to Fury when I started almost a year ago, there's just a lot of ways to win in this story. And the Eleanor South JV has zero. We have credit for that in our stock price. Analysts are giving us zero credit for that. And when we sat down with our partners, the view is we know there's gold there. We just don't know how much. I know that Newmont's is extended the Eleanor mine 4 to 5 years. They're not going anywhere, which I think there was some perception of that. I think investors, as they look at our stock price, and not to give sort of the capital markets pitch right here, but we are trading at $85 million right now. The stock price, in my view, is extremely undervalued. We're trading about $10 an ounce. Group is trading in the 40s. We've got $52 million in Dolly Varden stock. We've got $13 million in actual cash today. So right there, we've got an enterprise value of less than $20 million for what I think are 3 great projects that we have going. And to go back to Eau Claire, which was what Bryan is explaining, is we have multiple places. We got the Eastern Extension, we got the Hinge, we got the North Limb, we got Percival. I think one of the risks of when you see assay results back out and get pushed out and coming back is how do you go blindly back into your resource without knowing what you've just drilled? The truth is we're putting 3 or 4 targets where we want them, and we're moving the drill, and we've got enough space that by the time they come back to where we want to be, we're going to have those assay results back. We're doing a great job, I think, of managing the resource, managing our money. We're $200 to $300,000 under budget right now with our plan, which is always a good place to be. Creating cushion. Well, as I said earlier, we're blocking and tackling in this environment, which is what you're supposed to be doing. And I've got a tremendous amount of confidence in Bryan and the rest of the team. They're on it. I'm going up to site on Sunday night or Monday morning to spend 4 or 5 days up there with the team. It's great. We're in a great spot, and I think this is an incredible value opportunity for the company in terms of investing. If we hit next fall and we get all this news flow piling up and coming at us heading in September, October, I think investors are going to be really happy.
And Tim, remind us of the treasury. You're not in need of money right now, though.
No, we have $13 million in cash. We can trade on our Dolly shares February 25th next year.
And remind the audience how many of those shares you have.
We have 76.5 million shares of Dolly Varden Silver, which is equated to about 53 million. We got 45 million last February with 5 million in cash. The Dolly Varden stock is up. We think there's a lot more potential. And what I would remind people is take a look at a map and look at where Hecla is. Hecla surrounds the Dolly Varden property. And when you put our property and their property together, it's a very attractive piece for Hecla. Phil Baker is a good friend of mine. We've talked about this more than a dozen times this spring. They are pretty excited. If we can show that asset grows and gets bigger, they're really interested in buying it. Just as a reminder, we own 33%. They own 10%. Sprott, I believe it was around 7 or 8%. It's interesting. It's a really interesting play. So could be a big value for us later.
So even though the assays have been coming back slowly, once they do hit, you should have a steady flow of assays for at least 3 months, right?
Well, through the end of the year. So we're going to be turning the drill at Percival through the end of the summer. Our plan is to keep the Eau Claire drill going through the end of the year. Obviously, in this market, we're trying to be thoughtful about how we spend our money. The assay delays really aren't bothering our program in terms of what we want to do and how we want to do it. It's really about the news flow into the street. And anybody who's watching this market right now has got to be sensitive about what their stocks are doing. And they're probably, most people just assume the worst if they don't hear any news. And what I'm telling you is, I think we're doing a great job. So we're happy with it. There's always risk and exploration, but we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And we've sat down with some of our investors who are on the producing side, and they've confirmed that we're doing what they want them to do, which is step out and make this get bigger. And it's getting bigger.
All right. Well, the company's website is furygoldmines.com. Ticker symbol is super simple, FURY, Fury, on the big boards in New York and in Toronto. Bryan and Tim, thank you for joining me today and providing this update.
Bill, thank you. Great to be here.